Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday to you. If it's at all possible, you can join us in the space with your beautiful and or handsome face in the camera. We would greatly appreciate that. Before we get started, I got a quick request. Everybody smile. Let me just get a screen full of smiles. It increases your face value. Toots, come on, don't cheat me, Toots. Okay, a big O, don't cheat me. Let me see. Let me see the veneers, oh. Hey man, it's a beautiful day to be alive. I'm glad to see everyone's beautiful and handsome face in the space. It's good to see Dan back, my partner in crime, got the lead scientist back in the building. Today's conversion clinic is going to be a combination of two. Our monthly team flex meeting. Dan's going to really spearhead that, go over some of the numbers, and do what he does in that space. And then the second half, we'll go into some technical work around some things that we heard in the clinic last week around dialogue, role play, communication. So we've got some good examples that we can draw from, build from in terms of presenting the property, the touring agreement while receiving a warm lead. So we'll get into that later. But Dan, without further ado, brother, welcome back to the space.
Thank you, Vernon. Glad to have you here. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. I appreciate everyone for keeping the ship all tight while I was gone and out and wandering around the mountains and looking at stuff. But I'm glad to be back. I hope you all bear with me that I haven't talked to like a large group of people or thought business stuff for 6 weeks or 5 weeks or whatever it was. So if I'm a little bit bumpy, bear with me. And I told Vernon too that I would be a volunteer for doing some script role play stuff in front of you all. So it's been a minute. So I'm excited to dive straight back in. So back ready to go. Like Vernon said, what we're going to do first half of today, we're going to do our normal Thursday monthly meeting, stats, updates, Zillow stuff. And in the interest of time, we consolidated these two together so that we didn't have to do the 9:30 break, come back and do all this sort of stuff. Now we're just going to do it nice and efficient and leave hopefully plenty of time for the conversion clinic where we're going to get some skills practice for all this stuff. So like usual, we'll start off with lifetime volume. We are so close to hitting that $250 million mark for Zillow Flex lifetime sales right now. $248,110,360.10. So we could get one really, really big deal that pushes us over the edge, a bunch of really, really small deals, a couple medium deals, whatever it is. But we are definitely, I would say, a month away. And in fact, we've got enough in pending status right now to push us well over that line. So we are just dollars away from hitting this milestone, which ultimately in the grand scheme of things doesn't really matter. But in my head, $250 million in total sales volume from one lead source alone is pretty big. Just in the last, I think really 3 years is when most of this stuff came through. And I've heard mumblings that we're going to be having another cocktails for converters coming up in a few months here. So if you haven't gotten on the board yet, there is going to be potentially, Elias, I don't want to oversell or overcommit anything, but I hear that
we're committed to it. We're committed to it.
Probably November is what it sounds like. Date hasn't been set yet, but there's still time to get on the board and contribute towards this lifetime volume number, which I really hope everyone in this room does. And I heard several people got into contract that aren't even counted towards these numbers. August, you guys put up some big numbers in terms of sales volume close. I'm going to circle back on this in a little bit. This was fun to see and look at when I came back and was looking at the deals that came through, because we had a good number of deals, but we also had really good price points for a lot of these as well. But just shy of $10 million in closed volume for August last month alone. I think I should have done looked at the numbers on this, but I think this might have been our best month for closings for 2024 so far. So awesome job, everyone, in getting some of those deals through. Since the last time we came through, we got just shy of another $5 million in contract. So like I said, there's enough pending right now to push us over that $250 million mark for total sales. Want to recognize all the folks that got deals into contract since the last time we got together here. And I know several of you, like Kelly, your name's not on this list yet. Got to enter in the sales tracker, get it all dialed through. So next time we all come together, your name will be on this list. Blessing, if she's on the call, her name should be on this list. A few other people who got deals in contract. But Mark and David, congratulations. Kuhn, Lizette, Vernon. I think Vernon, you and Lizette have been on this board like every month I got to go back through and check. I think you guys have been on this, posted a deal in contract for now like probably 6 months in a row.
You know, we're gonna stay on.
Ronnie, same. I think for you and Joseph as well. Patrick, congratulations. Brett, I believe, was this your first Zillow Flex deal in contract as well for the team?
OB.
Yeah, congratulations. Sierra as well.
Oh.
Congratulations. And I think that was a listing actually that she got active, a pretty solid listing that came through as a Zillow Flex buyer lead, if I'm remembering correctly on this one. So big congratulations to everyone who got deals in contract here for the team. Year to date, 2024, we are still trending in a really good direction. $41,424,148 in total closed volume, plus the 4 or 5 million or so in pending volume as well. So we're still hitting at a really nice clip for new deals in contract, way past what we did last year. So one thing I want to circle back around to highlight to everyone, this was really interesting as we were going through and just kind of looking at recent contracts. We've had a big uptick in high price point Zillow Flex buyers that have come through. And this is highlighting closings that have happened or deals that have come through just the last couple of months. I think this is since like late June or even July. This is just the last couple of months that we've had multiple $1 million plus Zillow Flex buyer deals come through. V and Anna Oliver, Vernon and Lizette. Kuhn got $3.2 million in total volume of just 2 deals, Zillow Flex buyers. Mark and David got a $2 million buyer. Ronnie got a $2 million buyer. Ronnie and Joseph partnered on a $1.25 million buyer. And I know we like to talk as a team that it's important to focus on the deal and not the dollars. But it's also nice to have deals that have really high dollar numbers. And the reason that we have access to all these opportunities that we're seeing really high price point leads come through, it's not because Zillow is like sending us higher dollar value leads, but it's because there is more opportunity coming through total that we are able to capture as a team. And the reason that we have access to that is because over these last months and months, you guys, I'm sure for those who've been on the team for a long time are sick and tired, sounding like a broken record of harping on this, but we've been really focusing on hitting our numbers so that Zillow gives us more opportunity. And the fact that overall on average, we have been hitting our numbers, and although I'm going to come back to that in a bit, has given us more opportunity to get more leads, and we've seen these big dollar price point ones come through. Another note on this too that I want to highlight though, even though it's nice to see $1 million, multi-million-dollar closings for deals on these, I believe every person on this list that has one of these $1 million plus deals has also a Zillow Flex closing that's under 500,000, and I know has other deals that have closed that are under 200,000, under 100,000, right? All of these folks, the reason that they have captured these opportunities is because they are focused on deals and not dollars. And every now and again, one comes through that's a really, really big number. But I guarantee you, every one of these folks, if you put a client in front of them who said, hey, I've got 3.5% down, I'm trying to scrape together 2 pennies to get my first home, it's a starter home, it's whatever it is, they dive straight in and help that person just the same that they would with one of these $1 million buyers, right? And that's the sort of mindset that gets us to big opportunities. So I want to highlight this. I want to congratulate everyone that's got some of these ones and kind of whet everyone else's appetite that hasn't gotten one of these $1 million deals, because they're out there, they're for sure out there. But also say the mindset that gets us there is focusing on helping more people overall, because that's what creates these opportunities in the first place. Okay, diving deeper on stats, our lead volume month over month stayed exactly the same between August and September. That was actually by design. We requested from our Zillow rep that we not increase the total number of leads. We're probably going to do that for the following month as well. Just like we have the conversation with all of you individually of, hey, only take as many leads as you can comfortably digest. And sometimes you got to pause and just work through them. We do that as a team as well. And say, hey, we can't take on more leads until we make sure we're comfortable with the volume that we're getting through, and we have enough coverage and we have enough closings and we can really reasonably and responsibly handle them. So that's what we did last month. That's what we're going to shoot to do following month, especially as we're coming into fall. fall and winter time. Overall, team answer rate went up big time last month. Right now, 66%. We jumped up from like 45% the previous month. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many leads Zillow sends us. If we're not in the team picking up the phone when that call is ringing, it doesn't really matter, right? So we're seeing now 2/3 of the time, which is above the benchmark minimum standard that we want to hit as a team. 2/3 of the time, we're actually picking up that phone and connecting with clients. So big congratulations. Thank you, everyone, for focusing on this, because I know these calls come through random times. It's not always easy to pick it up. There's sometimes tech issues. So really hitting on that first and foremost, pick up the phone. That's what we got to do at the bottom at the end of the day. ALM rate is right about in the same range. It dipped down a bit. We're still under that 80% where we want to be. I know some things have gotten a little wonky in the last month. It was, some things changed here. I understand. I dipped out for a month and a half, and all of a sudden the industry's gone topsy-turvy in terms of how things happen. So I know the initial conversation with the clients is a little bit different. At the end of the day, though, booking the appointment, understanding their motivation is still critical for converting them into clients and earning the opportunity to earn their business. Even more critical, I would say, than before. Appointment set rate, 60%. That was exactly the same as last month. So we stayed right in line with that. Okay, so as a team, we came together last year, somewhere around there. Said we wanted to hit 150% as our team fast goal. I think pretty soon we'll revisit this and set our own team goal again. Take a look and see, based on the numbers, is this still where we want to be? But I've got some so-so news for everyone. We are pretty well under that now. We're significantly under that. And a couple things contributed to that, I think, was that we had a few months in the last couple months where we underperformed for our sales target based on what Zillow was telling us, right? So we're at 76% of our goal. I don't know about you, but I don't like that, right? I don't like to see that red. I don't like to see those numbers that low. That puts us in the danger zone. We've got enough of a track record that we've got leeway with Zillow. So, we can certainly work and get ourselves out of here, but I don't even like to be in this sort of territory. The other thing too is, as you've been seeing month over month, we've been getting more leads. We've been getting more opportunities. There's more faces here. There's more people that have seats at the table here. But what that means is higher lead delivery, higher expectation. So our monthly target that we've been seeing from Zillow has been going up every single month of that bar that we need to get over in order to get 100%, 150%. So for the month of September, our contracts goal to get 150% is 15 new deals in contract. So we're at 6 right now, and it doesn't count the couple that we've seen get into contract just in the last day or two. So again, Kelly, get that one in the sales tracker. We'll be able to get that uploaded in the Zillow Flex system and help you with that, but that'll contribute towards this goal, and anyone else who's getting deals in contract. But 15 deals in a month, that's a lot. That'll put up some really, really big numbers. That'll certainly shoot us past our overall annual sales volume goal. But that also means for everyone to really be digging deep on the leads that we have, right? We're getting a lot of leads through, but that still means we have to focus on converting and working every single opportunity we possibly can here. So with that, I want to turn it over to Vernon for Coach's Corner. Sorry, Elias, we borrowed that. That's just such a good term. I love it. Turn it over to Vernon to talk a little bit about performance and standards. And last month, Vernon has really stepped into the role in a big way as the conversion coach for the Zillow Flex program, as the team has been growing, as we've just been, expanding very, very rapidly for all of this. And so, as all of you know, the last month and a half has looked different. We started to kind of shift in terms of standards and accountability, and a lot of that relates back to, it's getting very real with Zillow, right? We've got high expectations from them, and the market and the industry is shifting so much that there's going to be huge gains to be reaped, but then there's also going to be a lot of people who are going to be left in the dust. And so we want to make sure that we're the ones that are scooping up all these gains and not the people who are left in the dust. So with that, Vernon, I'm going to pass it over to you. Coach, if you give us a couple words of wisdom on performance and standards expectations and how we make sure that we're hitting the 15 a month goal.
Well, thanks, Dan. Thank you for It's good to have you back, man. I've been sounding like a broken record over the past 3 or 4 weeks, just in terms of performance measures, expectations, and standards. I believe that I sat with most of you guys on this screen one-to-one, to where we've got, that's clear, and that's understood, which is why we've got 26, 27 people on the call today. But I want to talk about that 76% and how conversion ties into that. Okay. So let me just, I'm going to ask you guys a question, and I want you to really reflect on the question while you consider your proven process, your sequence, and so forth. But 76%, if we focused on moving the needle in conversion by a fraction of a percentage, each one of us, we change that number. So here's the question that I want you guys to reflect on. Then take yourself off of mute and feel free to contribute with your answer. What would you do to increase your conversion? The number of connections you have, what's in your pipeline, your proven process, your sequence. Considering all of that, ask yourself, what can I do, or what would I do that would increase my conversion? I'm going to put this in some numbers for you. If I have a 3%, or if you have a 3% conversion rate, right? And you move the needle by a percentage point, it's not simply going from 3% to 4%. What you've actually done is your business has grown by 25%. Just by moving that needle a fraction of a percentage. So what would you do to increase that? I've given you guys enough time to really brainstorm on that and reflect on that question. Feel free to take yourself off of mute. I'd love to hear your feedback. Okay, everyone, don't be so
no, real quick. I mean, perfect thing that I'm going to be doing and planning to do today is it's perfect time for us to reel in our old leads back. You know, obviously with the rates cutting down, or with the big news yesterday, right? With Jerome Powell, 50 basis points. So that's my plan for today. Hooking back in, and I had a one-on-one with Coach Elias as well, and I think to further increase that percentage points, we'll just have to reel them back in and really create those next steps for them. Keep them moving.
So Patrick, thank you for that contribution. So how do you feel that that's going to increase your conversion?
No, for sure. I mean, that's going to increase the transaction, or the offers at least being sent out, and hopefully
we're going to begin by coming down to a deep plie.
Let's put her on mute. Okay.
Yeah, and I know hopefully
it's in the waiting room. Would you mind letting them in? Thank you, sir. Sorry about that, Patrick. Technical errors.
No worries. Yeah. No, I mean, as far as increasing my numbers, that'll give me the opportunity to, one, reach back with those people that then that I didn't set an appointment with or I met with. Two, that'll obviously increase my chances of converting and having more deals coming up with my old leads. So I mean, just those two factors alone will definitely increase the numbers in my opinion.
So what you would do is tap back into your pipeline, tap back into your connections, those you may not have set appointments with, really starting to revisit
Exactly.
the conversation with new information as it relates to the market and rate cuts and so forth. And that's what you would increase your conversion. That's good stuff. Who else? What would you do to increase your conversion? I'm going to start calling on people to contribute.
I think because I believe sometimes we have a lot going on. We have showings, we have this and that, events and stuff like that. So sometimes we're like, okay, we're going to get to it. And then we forget about following up. But I think what I did hear about Mandy, maybe hiring a VA, just to do your follow-ups, because I think that's where this disconnect. Because yesterday I did talk to 2 people that they were like, yeah, we've been waiting. Someone told us that they were going to help us, but I'm still waiting. So it was just one from the lead pond I call, and then just been waiting for someone to actually come out.
Yeah, the follow-up game is probably the most important aspect of converting, right? And having a follow-up system built in as a part of your sequence. Absolutely. Anyone else want to contribute quickly? I'm going to call on one more person. We've got to have 3 at minimum. Toots. What would you do to increase your conversion?
I guess just I think I do need to hire a VA because I am having trouble following up, especially with the new baby, but that's not an excuse. But yeah.
Well, that's not an excuse, but that is a reality.
It is a reality. And I got, like I said, baby needs shoes.
Baby needs shoes. Baby needs shoes. So we definitely moving the needle a fraction of a percentage really could change our lives,
Right.
in our businesses, but the size of the size of the what we can bring, the size of the grocery bag we bringing into the house. Coach Elias, I know you chomping at the bit over there. Dan, I see your hand up, but let me give Coach an opportunity. But before I do, Elias, whatever it is that you feel or that you could do or that you would do to increase your conversion, are you doing it? Are we putting those into play? Are we putting those ideas, those structures in place, knowing that it's going to result in moving the needle a fraction of a percentage in terms of conversion? And if you're not, why? Coach, what you got?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think that it's easy for us to be able to say all the things that we would do. Well, then we have to internalize that and say, okay, am I actually doing that in my business?
Yeah.
Here's the thing that for all of us, we have an opportunity and you guys have an ability. And what I would think for all of us is that we need to operate in some truth. And what I mean by that is that each of you have the ability to listen to yourself, to go back and watch your own tape. As cringy as it is, how many ums and ahs and so's, then the fact that you didn't ask for the appointment, you didn't close, they opened the door, you didn't close it, all these things. You guys should be actively listening to your calls every single week to listen to nuances on how you get better. Moving forward, we now have Shiloh AI. Shiloh, if you're making any calls to the lead pond, if there is a company generated lead that is in a lead pond, you have to make all of your calls through Follow Up Boss. It's not because we want to micromanage you. It's because we want you to have a body of work that you can now analyze. And you can listen to yourself and say, there are so many opportunities for me to get better on the call. And I think that if you guys were looking at how can I increase my conversion by just a fraction, a millimeter, by truly going in and listening to your own tape. And it's hard. Patrick and I did this yesterday. It's really, really hard listening to yourself, but I promise you, you're going to find opportunities for you to make some millimeter shifts that are going to get you more appointments. Watch tape like a true athlete and say, you know what? I'm going back and I'm watching tape every single week to see how I can get better. And I promise you, once you put that mirror in front of your face, you're going to find opportunities to grow. That's something that I would highly recommend, encourage, implore, and push everybody to do.
Well, thank you for the segue, Coach, because that leads right into the second half of our conversion clinic. We're putting the mirror in front of, we're going to listen to a few calls. We're going to analyze these calls. We're going to critique our colleagues in a positive, constructive way, right? But we're going to listen to these calls. And Patrick, you just happen to be one of them. They're two different types of calls. One is more has some objections as the agent gets through the call. And the other was able to present the touring agreement at the conclusion of the call and without many objections. So how many of you, by a show of hands, when you've presented the touring agreement, have come across some form of an objection? Show of hands. Emoji on the screen, put your regular hand up. Some form of an objection, okay? This is good. We want to begin to work through those, right? So, oh, you do? Okay. Before I get there, Dan, I was ready to go. Dan has a few things that he wants to speak to. A few more things to go through, then we can transition right over. What time we got?
Yeah,
we're doing good. We're doing good.
I know you're excited to jump in, talk about all this stuff. I just got a couple logistical things, updates from Zillow to go through with everyone, and then we'll get into the fun stuff of doing this call listening and stuff. But I'm going to go through a couple boring details here, but updates, important things for everyone. You might have gotten a text message. It might have looked like spam from Zillow asking you to update the number of connections that you want. Zillow is doing a new connection planning program. And so basically what that is is they are going to send you a text message every month near the end of the month and ask you for the following month, how many leads, how many new connections do you have capacity to take on? This is not necessarily going to guarantee that that's the number of leads that you are going to get, but it is information that they want and we want to be able to see where is everyone's capacity so that you're getting a number of leads that you can actually realistically handle. So the target that you set in that text message, say, I'm good for 10 leads this month or 10 connections this month, whatever, are going to factor into the back end of us looking at this and setting actual connection targets, but also performance and also program engagement. So Zillow is shifting their back end to make it so that it'll be a lot more workable, a lot more doable for us to say leads are allocated to people based on the connections you're requesting, but also conversion percentage. So this is really going to factor into that. So basically the takeaway here is keep an eye on your conversion percentages, because the higher you are converting, the more leads you're likely to get based on these new algorithms that Zillow is launching out. And also make sure you are updating every single month the connection volume. A couple notes on this. When you're setting the connection volume that you want each month, be realistic about it, right? So if you're saying, yeah, 50 leads in a month, 20 leads, 30 leads, actually look back to see how many clients you've received, how many of them you're at your stats for, because less is more, right? So if you actually receive more leads than you're able to handle, you're going to hurt your numbers, which is going to hurt your future performance and future ability to get more leads in the program. So be realistic. If you're really, really slammed, say, hey, I can maybe handle 5 new connections. I can handle 8 new connections. Okay, less is more. Update this monthly. If you don't update it and we see a 0 on there, I'm going to assume that you can't take any new connections and you're going to be off for them. So if you're not updating how many connections and saying, hey, here's how many I can take, I'm just going to assume that you're not available for the month.
Can you tell me where we do that? Because I never got a text message.
So make sure that you check your spam. Make sure that the phone number that you've got on your Zillow profile is the one on your phone, because it will come through by text. Zillow should have sent out an email, and I can resend that as well for the phone number that they would be sending it through, because it's not like directly through the app. There's also, Alona, along those lines, a Zillow Academy course that I'll post in the Slack channel if you want to learn more about all the ins and outs of it. So I think it's like a 5 or 10 minute course that you can go through, and it's got all the details on this too. If you're not satisfied with the volume of connections that you're getting each month, get with Vernon, get with myself, and we'll work through ways to get you more connections. Long story short though, the best way to get more connections is to convert the connections that you already have, right? That's ultimately, there's no shortcut around that. If you're getting leads and you're closing deals from that, you're going to get more leads. So with that, oh no, I got one more thing. Zillow touring agreement, they're still working through it. You might have heard, sounds like there was a lot of back and forth on this while I was gone, but Zillow launched a new California touring agreement that's more specific to the California needs, but we're still not going to use it. We're going to keep the EXP single property touring agreement as the one that we're recommending all of you to use, because EXP still hasn't approved the Zillow touring agreement. So it's still messy. We're just going to keep things unchanged, even though Zillow is trying to roll their own out, until EXP gives the green light on the Zillow one, which might be never. Just continue as is, no changes. But just know, if you hear about this, yes, Zillow has a new California specific touring agreement. No, we're not going to be using it. I see several people saying that you haven't received the text. Yeah, it should. The one for October hasn't come out yet. So I'll double check on the date and keep an eye on the Slack channel for any updates around that. So that is everything I got. Vernon, I'm passing it back to you. We can get into our conversion clinic.
Good stuff, Dan. Thank you for that, sir. Anyone have any questions for Dan around any of the Zillow related information, questions? I know he's paying attention to those who said they haven't received the text message yet. So, you know, we knew before if you weren't enrolled in the program, or hadn't received leads within 45 days before that text message went out, or by that time that text message went out, you wouldn't have received that text message for September 11th going live, but you will receive, you should. All of you who are actively enrolled, receiving leads, you should receive the text message for October by the end of this month, just for clarity. Okay, let's put the mirror in front of us. Let's do a little work. We're going to listen to a few calls. We've got 36 minutes, and we're going to use this time wisely. I'm going to pull up 2 calls. It's about of hearing agents who are presenting the touring agreement, what their cadence is, what their flow. One is an objection, and that's the one that we're going to work through for the rest of the conversion clinic. So give me 1 second. Let me pull up the first call. Tell me what you hear. Did he set the appointment? Now, the first call is a couple of minutes, so we're going to listen to the entire call so that we can hear him setting up ALM and then how he transitions into presenting the touring agreement and what the feedback is from the lead. The second call is a little longer, so I'm gonna let's see here.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, is this Abby?
Yeah, that's her.
Hey, Abby. How's it going? How's it going? Hey, I'm Patrick. A pleasure to connect with you. I'm the local Zillow partner agent here in San Francisco. I see that you inquired about seeing Delano Avenue, 192 Delano Avenue in San Francisco for September 3 at 3 p.m. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Awesome. Gotcha. What I'll do is I'll send us in the meantime, I'll send you a confirmation once everything's good with the seller for the Delano ad for that date and time. And also I'll send over my business card for you just to put a face to the while I have you on the phone, did you have any questions that you'd like me to answer for you?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, like, why is this house on the market for such a low price when the neighboring houses are like at least 1 million?
Gotcha. Sure. Let me look up some more information for you real quickly and get you some clarification on that. What I'm seeing right now, as I'm pulling up the information, there's a couple things, right? They probably have it low, want to garner attention for a new listing. It's 12 days. And also, I'm assuming that they might have some tenants in there that are either protected or long-term tenants, which is obviously a friction when it comes to investors or, potential buyers when it comes to that property. So that's what I'm assuming right now, but let me get you a confirmation on that. Just give me 1 second. And also, while I have you on the phone, is there any other specific property that you're interested in that you want more information?
Kind of, this is the one that I'm super interested in. Like, if things go fine, I would want to see it. But yeah, I'm just on a lookout for other properties as well. So if I come across anything, I'll definitely let you know.
No, absolutely. And that's something that I would love to help you out with if I can get your criteria later on as we conversate, obviously. What I usually do is I create lists very catered to your criteria, so that'll help you kind of narrow down your search and obviously not waste your time, right? Okay, got you. I'll lift it up. So it seems like... So there is a tenant occupying the lower level of that property, but they're on a month-to-month rental agreement. But it also states that it will not be delivered vacant. But since it's on a month-to-month release, that opens up an avenue for us to kind of investigate to see if they're potentially protected. And if not, then that's something we can definitely do an OMI or other things that we can do to basically increase either the rent or renew the tenancy, right? So that's good for us. Yeah. And then the upper level of the home is vacant. So,
Got it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and also I just saw this right now. It does state that the offer date is due today by 10 a.m. So if anything, I can go ahead and give Jeffrey a call. Jeffrey's the listing agent for that property and kind of get clarification if they got some offers in and how's it looking for us and if it's even worth our time to even look at this, right? Yeah, so I can get that information for us once I get a hold of Jeffrey. But Yeah, knowing that said, what's your thoughts on the Delano Avenue property? Would you still like me to reach out, if everything's good, reach out and set up the appointment for us for September 3rd?
Yes, that would be great.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, let me go ahead and get that confirmation for you, and I'll send you an email reminder as well once everything is confirmed, and I'll text you as well. But besides that, I see that you're looking at, sorry, one second. You're looking at this specific neighborhood in San Francisco. I mean, do you have any specific other specific neighborhoods that you're looking at? Hayes Valley, you know, I see that we're like in the Mission kind of Mission Terrace kind of area. So is that more of the area that you're looking for, or you kind of just saw the price and were like, well, what's wrong with this one?
Yeah, actually, I saw the price on this one, and currently I live in SF, but then I live more towards the South Beach. I was just inquiring about the properties that fall within the range of 1.25, so that's where I'll be working on. Yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Thank you for letting me know that as well. And if anything, after I text you, I'd love to get your criteria and your budget and all of that so that I can further navigate the market for you and help out everything, basically make everything easier for you moving forward. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds perfect. Thanks, Patrick.
Awesome, of course, Avni. And one last thing before I, legally, I don't know if you're familiar with the recent NAR settlement that happened. But long story short, essentially, before I can set up this tour, or legally before I can open the door for you on September 3rd, I'll just need it's a non-binding document. It's basically for me to legally tour the property with you. It's just one signature and all that. Just giving you a heads up when that time comes.
Okay, sounds good.
Gotcha, gotcha. All right, Avni, do you have any other questions for me?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Of course, of course. All right, Avni, I'll be sure to reach.
Patrick, I'll give you the mic first, good brother. What did you hear in yourself?
I think discovery-wise, I did really well, seeing, what she wants. But I definitely messed up on the conclusion part and kind of giving her the next steps, and also kind of elaborating more on the touring agreement to make it sound less kind of intimidating. I think those three were the biggest mistakes I did right there, and in not setting up the next steps clearly.
Okay, so after hearing yourself, what would you have done different in that call? Two, explain the touring agreement clearly or clearer.
Yeah, no, I'd say, no, I'd start off with saying, hey, have you been touring properties lately? Blah, blah, yes or no. If not, hey, you know what? If not, it's perfectly fine. There is a new touring process that we're dealing with right now. Since that started on August 17th. Basically, there's a couple of changes. One big change is for the buyer's side when it comes to open houses and touring. One, we're going to have to sign some papers. What papers there are is a touring process, basically it's a touring agreement. It's a non-binding thing. It allows me to legally open up the door and disclose more information than was stated in the flyers. That's all it is. And like I said, it's a non-binding thing. It doesn't, we're not committed to each other. That's one of the biggest things that changed.
Okay.
So
A couple of pieces that I heard. We know NAR, the acronym within the real estate industry, but a buyer may not, right? A lead calling, NAR, what the hell is NAR, right? So being conscious of that, I would be descriptive. National Association of Realtors, post August 17, there's a touring agreement to establish consent for me to open the property door up for you, right? But National Association of Realtors, and I got grilled on this. I was on a call with Elias and Max, and a live lead came on, and I had to rock the call with them listening to me, right? Our Zillow rep and our damn coach, right? And I'm using terms like legally, implication, and it just came across. It came across real heavy, right? And so I like the idea of keeping it light, but also being as as detailed as you possibly can. What did anyone else hear in this call? Thank you for that, Patrick.
yes, sir.
We got Jessica, then we'll go Ina.
I actually have a question. So I did hear him give out information about whether the property is tenant occupied or not. Are we allowed to still give that personal information of the property without having the contract signed?
As long as that information is already public knowledge.
Okay.
It's just like
Okay.
whatever's on a, MLS sheet that a consumer can see those details. Confidential remarks we cannot share. We cannot share disclosures. But if it is something that is already public knowledge, then yes, we can share that. Anything past that, we cannot.
And
Okay, got it. The only reason, the only reason why I was asking is because I've had a few people ask me as well. So I just want to make sure, I'm not just like shooing them away. But just making sure if that information is online, then we are allowed to share that.
Yeah, so relay, conveying whatever is public information, right? It's accessible by a lead is in the clear.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Ina, and we'll go.
So
Ina, we'll go Daniela.
I think he had really good flow. I think he was really engaging. I think he added value and gave good information. I would say, to piggyback off what you were saying in regards to keeping it light and getting rid of the word implication and legality, I heard the word legal several times. And from my understanding is this isn't a law, right? We're currently in a process, procedure, policy. And on top of that, I really hesitate because we're absolutely not allowed to give legal advice. So when I hear the word legal, I'm like, ooh, let's not go that direction.
Great feedback, Ina. Great feedback, and agree 100% because it's not a law. It's a new rule, right? It's a policy, if you will. But legality, let's stay away from that. It's more so rule, and I just say it's a new rule. It's a new way of doing business. We have to have this agreement signed so that I can have consent to work with you, and then we take it from there. Thank you for that feedback, Ina. That was spot on. We're going to go Daniela rapid fire. We're going to go Otis, and we're going to go into the second clip because we really want to get into some objections and how we work around those objections. Daniela, shoot, baby girl.
Patrick, I thought that was a really great call, that you were super easygoing. You made her feel very comfortable. Something that I noticed, that I used to do this myself a lot, is that I would ask a question, but I would kind of give them the answer as I was asking them. So when you asked her like, oh, are you looking for something else? You were kind of giving her options. And through coaching, I've learned like there's such power in silence. And I listened to a couple of calls through Zillow as well. And it's like you ask them the question and then you stop. And I've had to catch myself doing that. And so I totally get it. I hate that awkward silence as well. And I want to keep the conversation going, but we have to like just remember that there is so much power in just letting them talk. So ask them the question and then.
It's great feedback, Danielle. There's power in the pause. Right? In stating a question and pausing and waiting for their answer. What that's happening is that's establishing relationship, right? That's establishing because you're actually providing a space. You're asking a direct question. You're pausing, giving them the opportunity to give you more to work with. Does that make sense? That's a great feedback, Danielle. Appreciate that. Big O, rapid fire, big dog. What you got?
I'd like to go ahead and piggyback off what Daniela said. I know, Patrick, you are totally spot on. She said that you were smooth as a whistle. I like your whole, way to articulate what you're saying. But yeah, less is more. You kind of talked yourself out from her focusing just on that property. I always just meet them at the property because you don't want to make sure that you lose this lead. You can always send more homes after that. Focus on the ALM because I'm not sure if I heard any of the ALMs in there. But focus on the ALM. You can always hang the phone up, get under the 5 minutes, call them back, go over the NAR settlement, get all the other stuff that you feel like you need for yourself to move forward. But yeah, I think that's the best thing because you don't want to start saying that she could possibly still want it with the tenants in it. So less is more and really just focus on the ALM, get off the phone and then call back and get all your extra small information that you need.
That's good feedback. Oh, thank you for your contribution. Yeah, and I want to echo that, Patrick. Always set the appointment. Elias used to coach me through this in the beginning, whether the property is pending, whether it's owner occupied, whether the upper level is vacant, the lower, set the appointment, meet the client, because that gives you a higher probability of conversion, right? So good feedback, Otis. Thank you for that. So with the last 10 minutes of our time, I really want to jump into this next clip. I want you guys to hear the objection that the agent experienced and how he overcame it. And then we're going to talk about quickly some strategies and some ideas around how to effectively overcome an objection as such. Now, I'm not going to play the whole thing because I think the
Thank
objection.
you. We're connecting you to a local agent now.
Let's see.
Hi, Joanne.
Yes.
Hey, Joanne, this is Justin with eXp Realty. I'm also a premier agent with Zillow. So I've received your inquiry on the property on Foster Court, apartment 4.
Yes.
Perfect. So I see you wanted to tour it Friday, 9 a.m. So let me go ahead and reach out to the listing agent to see if it's available for us to take a tour. But also, since we'll be out, is there any other properties you might be interested in?
No, I just was looking at that one and I just thought I would see what it's about, what it looked like.
Okay, sounds good. So let me go ahead and set that up for us. So tell me a little bit about your motivation. What has you interested in moving to a apartment like this one?
Well, I'm in an apartment, but I was looking for something similar to this, I guess. And then just gonna need an update. I mean, just been here for a while and need to change.
Yeah,
basically.
I hear you. So you're renting at an apartment or do you own a condo?
No, I rent.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, sounds good. It's always a good first step to do. This one looks definitely, renovated, ready to go. So let me take a look at this one and then I'll confirm. But one more thing, have you heard anything about the new NAR settlement?
No.
Okay, no worries at all. So there's a big change in the real estate industry that's affecting buyers, sellers, and realtors. So pretty much the NAR settlement went into effect August 17th. So, still fresh, but now realtors are now required to have a signed representation agreement with any clients or potential clients even before we even tour a property. I'm not a big fan of it. Honestly, it's just a requirement, because especially when you're meeting people online, you don't know how they work yet, things like that. But, just wanted to set the expectation up front. So what we can do is do a showing agreement, just pretty much says that you consent to me showing you a property. It isn't a binding agreement that says we're forced to work with each other. But eventually, if you do choose to work with another realtor, whether it's me or someone else, that is something that you do have to get signed.
Wait a minute. So if I come to see the property and I can't go and talk to someone else?
Pretty much. That's
Oh,
pretty
okay.
much what they're saying. Yeah. So I'll send you more information on that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe we need to cancel it then. I just wanted to come and see the place. I don't know how this works, but I just wanted to come and see how it look or whatever, just basically see what it's about.
Yeah.
No,
I
I'm
hear you.
not sure about buying, and I'm not sure, and I don't want to be in something that I can't get out.
Oh, no, it could definitely be terminated at any time. Like say for instance, we're working with each other and you decided for any reason you don't want to buy anymore or you don't want to use me as a realtor. You just have to give me that notice and then we'll have to terminate the agreement. So you have that right at any time. But by law now, they just want us to have an agreement in place regardless of how long we're working together. It's just extra work for everyone, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
not a big fan.
Okay, I'm glad you said that then. So what's going to happen then, a lot of people probably is not going to be looking then, and then that's going to be a hecky, you know what I'm saying? Because you want to look, and then you locked in, and you may want to go to another realtor and look at something else, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Too much.
That's why
Yeah.
it's really important to find out, talk to different realtors, see who you connect with the most. But the good thing is, regardless of what realtor you choose to work with, they have access to all the same properties. I don't have to be the listing agent just to show you the property. So I'm not the listing agent of this one. I have lots of connections all throughout the area, but I could show you whatever property comes up on Zillow, Redfin, anything like that.
Yeah, but we locked into that person. I don't know very much about who you are. You don't know who I am.
Exactly.
And then I'm locked in, and I don't know if I want to be locked in with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. So cancel that. Just cancel that appointment. We won't be there.
Okay,
Yeah.
no worries. What
All
you
right.
could do if
Okay, let's talk about that. Need you guys' permission. I'm conscious of everyone's time. It's 11:56. Is it okay if we go 5 minutes over? Are you guys okay with that? Because we got to break down Auntie's call. Okay. Justin is not on the call to be able to hear himself and analyze his call. Dan, can you let Jeff back in the room, please? It looks like a couple of others. Appreciate it. But Elias, I see your hand. Coach, I'm interested to hear your feedback on this. And so here's how we're going to do this. We're going to go Otis, we're going to go Elias, Otis, Jay. So get prepared. And then we're going to close out with Jeff. I'm interested to hear you guys' feedback. Coach, shoot.
Yeah, so I'll keep my contribution really short. So hear the tone in which he talked about the settlement. Once again, he said NAR settlement. I don't really like it. Well, it doesn't matter how we feel about it. It doesn't matter anymore. This is where we are, and this is the reality of it. And this is the new policy, and this is the new rule. Once again, this is not a law. Right. And so what he can do and what we should do is say, listen, I don't even know if I'm the right person to work with you and help you. However, in order for you to go see this property, you have to sign this document. At that time, if you and I hit it off and there's a good connection and you feel that I'm the person that can represent you moving forward based on our energy, then by all means, I'd love to, talk to you about what a formal relationship looks like. But why don't we just at least get you to the house, see if you like it. I can know a little bit more about you, what you're trying to accomplish. And then at that time, you can decide if you even like me or if I even like you. Sound good, Mr. Jones? Well, wonderful. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 1:30. And listen, make sure you bring a list of questions with you so I can address all those questions from there, okay? I will see you tomorrow at 1:30.
Yeah.
That's how I would leave it.
And keep it direct and keep it short. Yeah, because he lost the appointment on that, right? Not even an opportunity to really meet her. And I think a lot of it had to do with how he presented it. So I heard legal like 2 or 3 times, right? NAR. And, Auntie just wasn't having it. Auntie like, hold up, wait a minute. Wait, you're locking in. Well, it's not really a lock in. It just gives me consent to be able to give you access to the property. And then following up with what Elias said, once we connect, and if we find that there's some chemistry there, I'd love to work with you further and we could talk about what that looks like. But the Turing agreement is a consent to get us to be able to open the door for them and meet them. I see you, Demian. We're going to go Jay, Otis, and Jeff. Then we're going to close out with you, Demian, because we got to value everybody's time. Jay, feedback, my friend. What did you hear?
My feedback, I think just listen to her pain point, which I think she misunderstood the explanation. Just in kind of piggyback with Elias. Explain more that it's not a binding contract. It's just to open the door, make it easy. And if you don't like each other, then yeah, that's fine. I think he kind of went too deep into explaining. So I guess Auntie got kind of spooked. But yeah, I would just reiterate that it's not a binding contract.
Exactly. It's an agreement that gives us consent to give you access to the property. That's worked for me, keeping it short, keeping it simple. Oh, it's an agreement so that, yes, the new rules as of whatever state that we have to have this in place, whether it's me opening the door for you, Auntie, or anyone else. You're going to have to sign a Turing agreement in order to have access to a property. So keep it at that. That's good feedback, Jay. Thank you. Otis. Rapid fire, brother. Oh, you have some more, Jay?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, even when I'm talking to the client, I don't even mention the NAR. I just talk about the Turing agreement, and then if they ask more, what is the Turing agreement, which most likely they don't, then I'll talk about the National Association of Realtors. But most of the time, just say Turing agreement, and then just to open the door, and then that's it. I don't even mention the NAR. I don't know if most people do that also, or if we're required to even say, NAR.
We are not required to say NAR. Really, the way that I frame it is, okay, so here's what we do next, right? I don't really mention anything. It's a new way of real estate, and it's a new rule. that we have to, you know, have this agreement in place in order to give you access to the property. Otis, what you got, brother? Quick rapid fire. We're shooting down 4 minutes.
Just so we are clear, before I can even open up a door or give you any more information into this home, I have to make sure that we sign this agreement. This new agreement is taking place of August 17th, and in this agreement, it explains who I am, who I work for, and what I should be paid as far as a commission. So last over 100 years, the sellers have been taking care of that and paying a buyer's agent. Although it's kind of scary that that cost could come back to you, I would like to tell you, though, so far what we've been seeing in the last 30, 45 days, this business is still as usual. So 9 out of 10 homes are still doing the old fashioned where the seller will still take on that commission and pay to a buyer's agent. But I just have to let you know that this could be a possibility. And to be completely honest, I like to tell you right now, so it's not a forceful thing where I'm sending you putting a paper in front of your face and saying you have to sign. I think the transparency up from the beginning before you get there. I know a lot of you guys are trying to not say anything and force it upon them, but I think you'll get better results if you let them know beforehand exactly what it is, send it to them so they can see it, and then bring a paper copy as well.
Good feedback, man. Thank you for that contribution. Jeff, you had something in the chat. You want to bring it to the space?
Oh yeah. Well, just based on the call, one, I know we got a lot of new agents in here. I would tell y'all don't internalize like the shit that she was saying, because most people are going to sign it and go in. You're going to have those anomalies that aren't going to want to do it. So don't internalize that and create fear when you go out there to present it and then go out to your stuff. And then also there is 2 different agreements. So for me, I'm opposite of Otis. I do say, hey, this is my spiel. You got 2 calls, you can bring them up. Both of them, I got them signed when we got there. But I do say, hey, have you heard anything about the new changes in the real estate world? No. All right, perfect. When we get there, I'm going to dive deeper into it, and we're going to go further into it, but we're going to make sure to get you to tour the property, right? When we get there, I'm not putting no 30 days. I don't have to put 30 days, a week, whatever. I put 48 hours. Hey, look, we locked in for 48 hours. You don't like me, cool. But I just want to get you in this house, and I actually want to be able to share and give you resources while I'm here. And this is the ability that this thing unlocks the ability for me to do that. Whether you work with me or not, I want to teach you what dry rot looks like. I want to teach you what wood rot looks like. I want to teach you what it looks like to look for termites. I want to teach you those things. So then if you don't work with me, you at least have that knowledge when you go see the other houses. They never have, they really don't say no to that, because at the end of the day, you're providing them value that past working with you, they're going to use if they go work with somebody else. And really, I'm working in abundance. I'm not working in scarcity. So you don't want to work with me. Cool. I'm not really tripping. I'm going to answer the next call and get to the next one. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is don't internalize that, because I know those can create fear. It's not as hard, but for me, that's my flow. Everybody has a different flow, but that is what's worked for me.
Thank you for that contribution. Yeah, I have the same. We have a similar flow, Jeff. I use the single property touring agreement as an end. Ina, you had your hand up, then it went down. If your hand is up and you have a contribution, we're gonna close out with you, sweetie. Was that
okay? So first of all, yes, I loved what Jeff just said. I loved that not only he kept it breezy and light, which is what I try to do, but he also added value. But I did want to say a couple quick things about that call, was that, you know, maybe if you could get a little deeper into what her fear is about this quote unquote being locked in. I had a similar call, and come to find out they had an agent that was a friend that they fully intended to use. And I saved myself the afternoon of running around by finding that out. And in that moment, I was so grateful for this, because goodbye. I don't want to show you that property anyway.
It definitely does separate the real ones from the aunties. I just wanted to see what the inside looked like. This added feature definitely separates those who are serious from the aunties. Dan, before we close out, Otis, is that the same hand that you? Okay.
Sorry, I missed it. Demian, did you get a chance? I know you had.
Oh, shoot, where's he at?
He had to bounce.
Yeah, he's not on the screen. Hey, this was good. It's good learning. Good. Thank you for your contributions. I think that, you know, for me, some of the takeaways are being detailed and light. And Patrick, thank you for being put on the spot. Justin being put on the spot, but really focus. Let's focus on, if we don't leave with anything from today's conversion clinic, but focus on moving the needle a fraction of a percentage. Whatever that answer to the question was of what you would do to increase your conversion, be intentional about that this week. I'm here for you. Dan's here for you. Elias is here for you. If you have any questions, concerns, if you want to sit, if you need to sit down one-to-one, so maybe we can get you need some additional coaching in some areas, or you may get stuck or hiccup somewhere. I'm super accessible. You guys can hit me on all the various platforms. I'll see you guys next Thursday. Dan, welcome back to the space. Elias,
thank you.
love to you. Peace, y'all.
Thanks, everyone.